My name is Curtis Vanderschaft, and this presentation is about a project entitled Projecting Stand Development and Economics of Longleaf Pine Planted Outside Its Native Range. Michael Blazer of the LSU Ag Center and Joshua Adams of Louisiana Tech were also part of this project. The longleaf pine ecosystem was one of the most extensive in North America. This species produces valuable wood products but has a stigma of slow growth. However, today, with advances in genetics, better quality seedlings, and an increase in knowledge of how to transport, store, and plant longleaf seedlings, and the fact that we now know it's essential to control non-crop tree vegetation early in the life of the stand, longleaf pine plantations are often a viable economic alternative when compared to loblolly or slash. Predicted global climate change may result in species shifting locations such that they will be productive beyond their native range as encountered by Europeans when they first arrived. Longleaf pine is relatively resilient to drought, severe storms, fire, and pest outbreaks that are anticipated to occur with greater frequency with the predicted climate change in the southeast U.S. In this study, 19 genotypes of longleaf pine drawn from diverse portions of its native range were established at a drought-prone site approximately 25 miles north of the northwesternmost portion of the longleaf pine native range. The objective of this study was to explore observed individual tree and stand behavior at age 5 and long-term predicted stand development in terms of survival, basal area volume, and economic returns. The study was conducted at the LSU Agricultural Center Hill Farm Research Station in northwestern Louisiana. Prior to establishment, the site was a loblolly pine plantation for 46 years that was clear-cut harvested in 2007. Eventually, site preparation consisted of herbicide application in 2015 along with operationally mulching in July 2015 and subsoiling in September 2015. In the same months, 250 pounds per acre of diammonium phosphate was broadcast applied. In January 2016, the site was hand-planted with containerized longleaf pine seedlings at a spacing of 10 feet by 10 feet. Each experimental unit was a row of 6 trees, all of the same genotype. Each genotype was replicated 6 times, and these were laid out in a randomized complete block design. After planting, non-crop vegetation was suppressed to better isolate genotype effects using both rotary mowing and herbicide application. For volume estimates and subsequent stumpage revenues, for the pulpwood merchantability class, the minimum DBH was 4 inches and the upper stem DOB was 4 inches, while the DBH for the chip and saw merchantability class ranges from 8 to 11 inches with a DOB of 4 inches, and saw timber specs were a minimum DBH of 11 inches up to a DOB of 7 inches, and a half-foot stump was assumed. Cubic foot volumes were converted to green tons, assuming 62 pounds per cubic foot, and stumpage values were obtained from the second quarter of 2019, essentially to avoid the impacts of COVID, and an interest rate of 6% was used. This poster presents the predicted stand development component of this study. To estimate future volume per acre, 3 modeling approaches were used. Firstly, projections were obtained using the southern variant of FVS, Forest Vegetation Simulator, with the USDA Forest Service, and second, a per acre merchantable volume equation fit using USDA Forest Service FIA longleaf pine plantation data from across the Gulf region. And thirdly, equations found in Gonzalez-Benecki et al. That were incorporated into a timber decision support system entitled LongGolf. For basal area, a fourth modeling approach was used. A nonlinear mixed effects model was fit using loblolly slash and longleaf pine plantation data from central Louisiana. Thus, for both volume and basal area per acre, 3 modeling approaches were used, since equation 1 does not predict basal area per acre and equation 2 does not predict volume per acre. Despite being established north of the species' native range here in Louisiana, the genotypes on this site at age 5 are relatively productive, and some are extremely productive for this species. So the intent of this study is merely to have some idea of the likely behavior in the future and to obtain relative values among the genotypes, not necessarily to produce or obtain accurate estimates of what is going to be observed in the future. Volume and basal area per acre projections differ substantially by model system, both in terms of carrying capacity and trajectory shape through time. For volume, approach 2 produced the most sigmoidal trajectories, or equation 1, while approach 1, or FES, had little sigmoidal shape. The variability among the projection approaches demonstrates that we as foresters still lack a means of obtaining solid projections from young ages to rotation ages. But once again, we're just trying to get some idea of what the likely trajectory shape may be and the carrying capacity. For approaches 1, FBS, and 2, equation 1, using FIA data, given current regeneration cost and the assumed stumpage values and the 6% interest rate, growth rates will likely not be enough to offset those costs such that a financial profit will be produced. However, for approach 3, Gonzalez-Benecki et al. 2012, the projected revenues are enough to produce a positive financial return.